Good morning, YouTube. Happy Saturday. Yesterday I had a lot of you guys reach out to me, especially after my post. And the question has always been, why is it that I don't outsource anymore? Years ago when we started with Xtelecom, we outsourced a lot of our, lead generation, especially our telemarketing callback leads. We do a lot of that. But like anything, with time, trial and error, you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes, and then you move on. And a lot of you guys call me, always offering me your services, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I'm turning it down. It has nothing to do with you as an individual, your company, your name, your color, where you live on the planet. It doesn't matter. The reason I do it is because, unfortunately, most companies, whether offshore, onshore, they are clueless when it comes to how DNC works, as well as how TCPA laws work. I mean, they just are. And it sounds kind of punkish to say that, but I've proven that over the years, again, through trial and error. So for me, what did it for me that we started doing everything in-house at Xtelecom and we stopped doing the outsourcing? We started building partnerships. We started doing that. Why? Well, let me share my story with you. So in late 2016, early 2017, I was approached by a BPO organization that specialized in callback leads, in which they would, cold call people over a certain demographic, 55 and older, and offer them final expense. And it was a good lead in terms of the cost and the amount of leads you can purchase for that cost. So it made sense. At the time, though, we really just took that group's word for it. We trusted them. And on the surface, the quality of the leads were good. I mean, people were responsive. They understood what the call was about. So, we didn't really think about it much. And it wasn't until later that I got one complaint from one of my agents at the time. The agent told me, hey, you know what? This person told me they're on the do not call list, and they're telling me they're going to file a complaint against me. Wow. Well, immediately, heart starts pounding. And we call this group up and say, hey, by the way, those leads you sold us, turns out one of the leads is saying they're on the DNC list. Immediately, the group gets defensive and they're saying, no, we check every single lead with the Department of Do Not Call Registry, which is the website you can go on. But then again, that just started the process of us having to check the rest of those leads. And at the time, I want to say it was probably over 500 leads that we had committed to. So out of those 500 leads, when we went and took those numbers and our staff did a scrub on those leads, we figured out that over 30% of those calls were on the DNC and were illegal to call from the beginning. So you cold call a lead and that person's on the DNC, you can get in trouble. In this case, these leads were old leads from, a year ago, people that were looking for final expense, but because this group didn't understand TCPA laws, they made that mistake. Well, when we found out that a big number of those leads were illegal, we immediately cut cut that group off, and we told them that we weren't going to pay them a red cent for none of those leads, period. I was upset because I learned a hard lesson then. As they would say, trust but verify. And I made the mistake because I trusted, and I didn't verify. We took the company's website, their reputation. We took it as gold, but we found out the hard way that they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Well, that wasn't the worst part of it. You see, when we would outsource back then for our leads, if a group wanted to work with us, they would invoice us 30 days. We wouldn't pay up front. And we've been working like that for years. When we turned down their invoices and we're not paying you because you did this wrong, immediately this group gets really upset. And they tell me, if you don't pay us, we're going to destroy you. If you don't pay us, we're going to go on every social media site and tell them how you scammed us, how you didn't want to pay us. At the time, I said, hey, you do what you got to do. I'm going to do what I got to do. But we are not paying you $1 for any of these leads. They kept on going. They kept on going. These guys, this group, this agency kept on going. Calling my agents, calling my associates, sending me emails of how they're going to destroy me, how they're going to hurt my business. Here we are in 2021. And guess what? Now, these people are having to face some serious charges, not just civil, but criminal, for their actions. Hey, I understand sometimes we make mistakes. I get it. But if you're generating leads, whether it's offshore, onshore, you got to do it right. You have to do it right. And if you don't do it right, you can't expect to muscle the client to pay you for your work. It doesn't work that way. And that's the number one reason Xtelecom today does not outsource, because our insurance wouldn't be in compliance. It's the number one reason we don't work with groups that way anymore. We do everything in-house because we need to make sure that every step of the way is done 100% legitimately in terms of DNC, TCPA, and all the other telemarketing rules. We do work with partners, but those partners are following exactly what it is that we do, or else it just doesn't work. And lastly, I've been in those situations, and now we're flipping the script on these banshees. And I see a lot in the marketplace of agents, right, that end up in a similar circumstance with some of these groups. Once again, whether offshore or onshore, just understand that if they're not following the guidelines, you have no reason to pay them and fight them. Don't ever let anybody make you pay them just because they feel they can muscle you or attempt to hurt you in some way, shape, or form. Stupid. So again, we don't outsource at Xtelecom. We do it all in-house. And I hope this explanation, helps some of you guys, understand why, especially after the post that I put on LinkedIn yesterday. I think it was very clear for some of you out there that have been watching this happen to me over the last few years. Hey, but if you come right and you want to work with Xtelecom under a partnership, hit me up. Peace.